Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have just drew 1-1 against Southampton at Old Trafford. Not a good enough performance again, and I'd say now the top four is officially over for Manchester United. Jadon Sancho scored Manchester United's goal. It was a tap-in. It was a lovely ball by Marcus Rashford to find Jadon Sancho. He's starting to become good now, is Sancho. Sancho did have a chance in the game from close range, produced a good save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Sancho played very well at Turf Moor against Burnley, and he played very well in the FA Cup game against Middlesbrough. He scored in that game, and that was Sancho's first Old Trafford goal, and it was of course his FA Cup debut. Earlier on this season, Sancho played very well in the games against Chelsea and Villarreal away because he scored in both of them games, and he played well in the 3-1 win against Burnley in the final game of last year, but unfortunately he was denied a goal in that game. Sancho still done nowhere near as well as a lot of Manchester United fans expected. But like I've said, not every player settles in straight away. Sancho endured 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Man United signed Sancho last summer for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's under contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. Marcus Rashford, he got the assist for the Sancho goal. I thought Rashford played well in the first half, but he was anonymous in the second half. Rashford, to be fair, has been in form recently. I thought he played well against Burnley at Turf Moor. In that game, he made some good runs, he got into some good positions. His decision making was poor at times. He had a good early chance against Burnley. He didn't do so bad against Middlesbrough in the Cup. Rashford had his chances in that game, and he also had a disallowed goal. A lot of United fans have said, including me, that Rashford has not been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. He missed the first 2 months of the season with that shoulder problem. And earlier on in the season, he had a minor leg injury. His contract at Manchester United expires next year. Earlier on this season, it said Rashford was preparing to open contract talks with Man United. PSG have been in for him. Earlier on this season, Barcelona went in for him. He's been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy. He has been a Manchester United player since the age of 7, and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016. That's over 5 years ago now, and Rashford's nearly made 300 appearances in all competitions. Cristiano Ronaldo, he started today. Ronaldo had a very good early chance. He went round the Southampton goalkeeper and he hit it, but Romain Perraud cleared it. Ronaldo had a goal disallowed in the game. Ronaldo's not scored now in his last 6 games, so he is out of form at the moment. Ronaldo didn't start against Burnley at Turf Moor. In that aspect, I was shocked. And he was unhappy that he started on the bench against Burnley. Now, recently, it's said Ronaldo could quit Manchester United in the summer, halfway through his 2-year deal. Ronaldo's told his friends he's starting to feel his age. Next month, Ronaldo is planning for showdown talks with his agent about his Manchester United future. Ronaldo's future is in doubt. Over 3 weeks ago, don't forget, Ronaldo gave an interview and he was very critical of the youngsters. Reflecting on that, he was demanding more from the youngsters. And he was backing Ralph Rangnick to do a good job at Man United, and he also said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. Not so long ago, there was reports coming out saying that Man United consider swapping Cristiano Ronaldo for PSG boss Mauricio Pochettino. Since Ronaldo re-signed, he's scored 14 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career. Man United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million, with add-ons included. His contract at Manchester United expires next year, and he receives nearly £500,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at the club at the moment. He is the best player in the world overall, even though he has been out of form. He's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Paul Pogba, he had another good game today. Paul Pogba did have a goal disallowed for offside. Pogba also did well against Burnley at Turf Moor. Or was it on Tuesday? Pogba scored in that game. That was his first goal of the season, and it was his first Premier League appearance since October, because don't forget, Pogba at one point was out with injury for a while. He's endured a few injuries since he signed for the club, so he is injury prone. He also played in the cup game against Middlesbrough. He did very well in that one. There's a good chance Pogba will be leaving Man United in the summer. His contract expires in the summer. But revert back to a few weeks ago, he said Pogba is willing to stay at Man United as long as Ralph Rangnick is the manager for next season. Because Pogba has been impressed by Rangnick since his arrival. And he said Pogba would be open to signing a new contract. This season has been his 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. He's played over 200 games since he re-signed, and Manchester United paid £89 million for him, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. Diego Dalot, I thought he played quite well today. He made some nice runs. He made some nice passes as well, and he got in some good positions. I've been very impressed with Dalot under Rangnick. Delort is our first choice right back under Rangnick. I do recall Delort having a chance in the game. Produced a good save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Do you think Delort will leave the club in the summer? Last season, he had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Man United got Delort from Porto. Man United paid £19 million for him. His contract at Manchester United expires next year. Harry Maguire, I thought he was very poor again. Caught out of position quite a few times. Lacked that composure and was caught out of position for Southampton's equaliser. Maguire was very, very poor against Burnley last Tuesday. Because in that game, Maguire was the culprit for Rafael Varane's disallowed goal. And he was also to blame for Burnley's equaliser. Maguire, I'd say, is Manchester United's worst ever signing. And Man United fans are demanding for the captaincy to be taken off Maguire. Maguire is not a leader. Man United overpaid for him. We paid £80 million for him, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Maguire's been at Man United over 2 years now and he's endured a few injuries since he signed for the club. David De Gea did well again today. He made some good saves to deny Stuart Armstrong twice. He also made a good save to deny Romain Perraud. And he also denied Armando Broja. What a season De Gea is enduring. He's now back to his best. Not so long ago, De Gea got named the Premier League Player of the Month for January. He became the first goalkeeper to win the award in 6 years. De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. This season has been his 11th season at Man United, so reflecting on that, he's been a long servant. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. Earlier on this season, he did mention that he's planning to spend many more years at Man United. De Gea's contract at the club expires next year. De Gea does receive £375,000 a week, so he's the second highest earner at the club behind Ronaldo. Revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back as he did decide to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks. As for Southampton, their equaliser came from Che Adams. It was a lovely side-footed finish. It came off the post. And, Southampton had their chances, like I've mentioned. And Manchester United also had their chances. So, yeah, it was an end-to-end game. Just seems to me, every time Manchester United go 1-0 up, we take the foot off the gas. That's what 3 1-1 draws now in a row. Drew 1-1 today. Drew 1-1 with Burnley last Tuesday. And it was 1-1 against Middlesbrough after extra time in the FA Cup. We brought substitutions on in the game today. I think Jesse Lingard came on. Anthony Elanga came on. I can't remember if we brought another substitute on. You know, this fixture against Southampton at Old Trafford last season was 9-0 to Manchester United. That was Manchester United's biggest win since the 9-0 win against Ipswich back in 1995. Obviously, it was 1-1 at St Mary's between Southampton and Man United earlier on in the season. But, you know, Southampton are a decent team. Not so long ago, they beat Tottenham 3-2. Obviously, drew with us today 1-1. They do remain 10th in the league. I've got a lot of respect for Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think he's a very good coach. Ralph Hasenhüttl has been Southampton manager for over 3 years. Southampton appointed him in back in December 2018. He's under contract with Southampton until 2024. Hasenhüttl has already said he will consider retiring when his contract expires at Southampton. I'll tell you when Southampton were very consistent, you know, when they had Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino only endured a short managerial tenure with Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. And also, let me put into the equation that Southampton have lost good players, like I mentioned on the preview, and that, you know, they lost Vestergaard to Leicester. You know, Danny Ings left them. You know, he went to Aston Villa from Southampton. You know, they lost Charlie Austin quite a few years ago. They had Mina Mimo on loan last season, but now Mina Mimo's back at Liverpool. Mina Mimo doesn't really get in Liverpool's team. They lost Højbjerg to Tottenham. Cedric Soares left them. You know, he went to Arsenal from Southampton. And, you know, there's others as well they've lost. You know, they lost Nathaniel Klein, Dejan Lovren, Van Dijk, Adam Lallana, Mane, Klein, Van Dijk, Lovren, Lallana and Mane all went to Liverpool from Southampton. Liverpool have done, you know, good transfer business with Southampton before. Manchester United are missing some players, but not many. Obviously, Fred's not available at the moment because he's got COVID. Cavani, he didn't play today because I think he recently picked up an injury. Cavani did play in the game against Burnley. I thought he was anonymous in that game, Cavani, apart from that one chance that he did have. Obviously, there was no Bailly today because he's still injured, but he doesn't really get in the team anyway. Tahith Chong's injured. And that's about it. I think Tellez is now back. He's just recovered from COVID. He has missed though the last few games. And obviously, you know the news regarding Mason Greenwood. The other week, Mason Greenwood got dropped by Nike after rape allegation. Not so long ago, Man United fans burned their Mason Greenwood shirts. Mason Greenwood is banned from England and Man United, so he can't train or play any matches. The other week he was released on bail after his arrest. Greenwood's been arrested twice on suspicion of sexual assault, making threats to kill, rape and assault. So there you go. And Manchester United's next game is Brighton. That's on Tuesday the 15th of February. That is a rearranged game, of course, because Man United were supposed to be playing Brighton on the 18th of December last year, but the game got postponed due to COVID. I'll be giving you my preview for the Brighton game tomorrow. Ralph Rangnick, he's been Manchester United's interim manager for over 2 months now. He's now managed 13 games in all competitions. He's lost 2 games so far. Also drawn quite a lot of games as well. I can assure Man United will not offer Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. There's been good performances under Rangnick. There's also been poor performances as well, but reflecting on the poor performances, Rangnick's blameless. You know, the players have to take responsibility for those poor performances. Nothing has changed under Rangnick than what we saw under Solskjaer. And prior to this game today, like I updated you, he said Man United players are unhappy with Rangnick's training, and they give a nickname to Chris Armas, who's the assistant coach. He said a few times, that Rangnick, is losing the dressing room. Rangnick is Man United's interim manager till the end of the season, then he is expected to continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Rangnick's endured 1 transfer window so far as Man United's interim manager, and it was a very disappointing January transfer window. Man United did not make any signings last month. Man United wanted to sign a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. We should have let Lingard and Henderson leave last month, but we didn't. We blocked their exits. We had the incident with Mason Greenwood towards the end of last month. Man United did let around 8 players leave last month. Rangnick wasn't backed last month, and he actually got promised that he was going to be backed. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. And it's going to be another trophy this season for Man United. The only trophy we can win is the Champions League, and I'm very, very, very sceptical that we're going to win that. We've got Atletico Madrid in the last 16. That's going to be a very tough game. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's 5 years ago now. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We've not won the Premier League since 2013. Now, the news on Mauricio Pochettino. Now, recently, Pochettino responded to Manchester United's interest. Pochettino insists he's still 200% focused on PSG, despite Man United's interest. Not so long ago, it said Manchester United players want Mauricio Pochettino as the next manager. Earlier on in the season, he said Pochettino could be sacked by March, and Pochettino's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. Pochettino's reportedly told his friends he will be leaving PSG in the summer. PSG are trying to get Zidane to replace Pochettino. Pochettino has been PSG manager for over a year. I think he's won a French Cup with them, and his contract at PSG expires next year. He is a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. He's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial, because before he managed Tottenham, he enjoyed a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Back in 2018, got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. At one point, he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. I think Tottenham made a bad mistake sacking him, like I mentioned before. And before Tottenham managed Southampton, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, Pochettino got Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far. And a long time ago he managed Espanyol. Revert back to when Man United sacked Mourinho. Man United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. A lot of Manchester United fans would like to see Erik ten Hag become the next permanent manager. Well, Ralph Rangnick prefers Erik ten Hag to Mauricio Pochettino, and not so long ago, a Dutch journalist claimed that Erik ten Hag will leave Ajax at the end of the season following the departure of Marc Overmars. Ten Hag was upset when Marc Overmars left. I think if Erik ten Hag came to manage in the Premier League, he'd replicate what he's done with Ajax. You've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. He's developed the young players well. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019. He got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. So there you go. And he's been Ajax manager for over 4 years. Ajax appointed him in back in 2017. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax is the 4th club he's managing in his managerial career, because before Ajax he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then managed Go Ahead Eagles. Prior to the game today as well, it said Man United added Luis Enrique to their managerial shortlist. Luis Enrique is the head coach of Spain. Manchester United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. 4 permanent managers have been sacked since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Then we sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. We did win the FA Cup under him. Then we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite Mourinho winning 3 trophies in his first season. So he did enjoy one good season at Man United, and last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Man United have only won 4 trophies in 10 years. And not so long ago, Football Observatory said that Man United have spent over 1.3 billion in 10 years, and Man United have recouped around 397 million in sales. The Glazers, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The Glazers are still at Man United. They've owned Manchester United now for around 16.5 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. I want the Glazers out. Ed Woodward obviously stepped down, was it, at the beginning of this month? That was good news from a Man United perspective, because Woodward was one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Ed Woodward was Man United's vice chairman for 17 years. Of course, Richard Arnold replaced Ed Woodward as the new chief executive. In the summer, a lot of players are going to depart the club. So in the summer, I reckon Henderson will leave, Jones and Bailly will leave, Matic will leave, Pogba, he's likely to leave as well, like I've already mentioned. Do you think Telles could leave in the summer? Lingard will leave as well. Looks very likely that Ronaldo will leave. Cavani will leave. Mata will also leave. So there you go. On the other side of things though, I'm expecting Man United to make some signings in the summer. So anyway guys, on my next video, I'll be giving you my player ratings from this game. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.